Number 11, as maybe you've seen a picture or a YouTube clip or whatever of the Kaaba, and you see that the Kaaba is square, right? Meaning you have how many corners? 4. But next to the Kaaba, it is a half circle, right? And they call it what? Hijr Ismail. With the ulama, they says has nothing to do with Hijr Ismail. Now, why I'm saying that, it is not, why you making tawaf, you have to make the tawaf around the Kaaba. Alright? Around the Kaaba. You don't go between the Kaaba and that half circle. Now you're not, because that's a part of the Kaaba too. So you want to make around the whole thing. Those who they make tawaf and they say take a shortcut, no, that's not tawaf now. Because you're not making tawaf around the entire Kaaba. Okay, that's very important. Point number 12. As you go in now, when you leave the tawaf, when you start your tawaf by the Hajar Aswad, and you're gonna go and pass the half circle, and then you're gonna pass, of course, the first, the second, and the third corner. Now you're gonna come to the fourth corner. It is called the Yemeni corner. They say this is the Kaaba. Okay, you start over here, and you're gonna come over here. That's number 2, 3, 4. This is the corner right before the black stone corner. All right, that corner right before the black stone corner, it's called Rukn al-Yamani, the Yemeni corner. Why? Because it's to the south. Because it's towards the directions of Yemen, to south. That's why they call it Yemeni corner. It's not like because the Yemeni own it or something. Okay? You say, where's the American corner? No. Yemeni corner because it's towards south, towards the direction of Yemen. Huh? That's why it's called Yemeni corner. The other one called Shami corner, okay? Because towards the north. Alright? So, it is sunnah to touch it with your right hand without kissing it, without kissing your hand. However, if it's very crowded, you just keep going, don't point to it and don't say anything. Okay? Point number 13. Why you're walking between the Yemeni corner and the black stone corner? It is sunnah also to say this ayah. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Okay, you say this ayah. That's between the Yemeni corner and the black stone corner as you walk in. If you forget, especially if you're so excited and nervous and you forget, don't go back. Oh, let's go back, brothers. We didn't say the ayah, Allahul Musta'an. Go back. No, you don't go back. And remember, another mistake Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah highlighted, some people, especially people they be in a group, and especially those who have women with them, what they do, they make a circle and start walking so the women can walk in the middle of that circle to protect them. Some of them, they be going backward. Meaning what? No, the Kaaba will be on your right shoulder, right, to their right, not to their left. And that's a mistake. You have to walk so that the Kaaba always on your left side. On your left. I know. Now you made it to the black stone corner now. You finish one round. And this is the point number 14. It is sunnah, if it's not crowded, what you do? You go to it again. And kiss it. Hold it with your right hand and kiss it. And say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. And then you start the round again. And do the same thing you did in the first one. But if you could not get to it, just raise your hand and say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar and keep going. Point number 15, right? You counting with me? It is recommended for the mu'tamir, the person who's performing umrah, while making tawaf, to remember Allah and to make dua, any dua you want. And you can read Quran and avoid idle talks and avoid selfies and stuff. And read. This is a great opportunity to make dua. There is no such thing of special dua for every round. And avoid some little booklets some people be giving them out. They think they're doing something good. And then in those little booklets you may find you have to say this dua in this round number 1. And you have to finish all of them. That's why you see some of them, before they finish, they slow down until they finish and cause big problems. There is no such thing, some dua for a first round, second, third. Make any dua you want. Ask Allah all the good of this life and the hereafter. Another mistake people they raise their voices with the dua. You don't raise your voice with the dua. Okay? You don't raise your voices. These are just some side points, okay? I'm still on the 15th point. Point 15. So another mistake you may find, you may see people in there, they have a group, they have one person in the front, Allahumma, kadada, falada. He's saying, some of them, they don't even know what they're saying. They're not Arabs, they don't know anything in Arabic, and they just, because I heard some of them, the man, some of that guy, he himself don't know what he's saying. He just reading, he know how to read, but he don't, because he make mistakes in grammar and other things. Now, this is not permissible. Everyone make dua himself and don't raise your voice, because you shouldn't harm others. Okay? Point number 16. You should follow up every round after the other, okay? Al-muwalat. Don't make 2 rounds and go get a sandwich. And then come back and finish the tawaf. It doesn't work like that. All right? It doesn't work. However, if a person, for example, may have to interrupt his tawaf because of salat, for example, yes, it's permissible. It's permissible. If they call the iqama, if they call the adhan, keep going. You're making tawaf and they call the adhan for any salat, keep making tawaf. They call the iqama, then you line up for the salat. Where you at? Women, they should go. Once women, they hear the adhan, they should go with the women are. Because it's not permissible for women to pray with the men, next to a man like that. Like some ignorant people do. You hear the adhan start, that woman should stop the tawaf and go to the women area to pray and come back. If she's with her husband, he will stop too with her, and he walk with her to the women area. She pray with them. He pray next to the women to that area with the men, and he's like, look, after salat, we meet right here and we continue the tawaf. And they will continue the tawaf. Salat does not cut or nullify the tawaf. As soon as after, and remember in Hajj, they call the adhan and they call the iqama immediately. Sometimes not even 1 minute between them because of the crowd. Literally, as soon as they call the iqama, 10 seconds later, you hear the iqama. Because it's very crowded. They do it. Also, the ulama, they mentioned, was still in this point number 16. If a person got very sick or fainting, or their knee hurt or whatever, they can sit for a minute. They can lay down, get some water, and then catch their breath, and then continue the tawaf. They can continue the tawaf. Likewise, if someone starts tawaf walking on their feet, and then they couldn't make it, something happened to them, ankle twisted, whatever happened, back problem, then they can ride. They can find one of those carts. There are people that's what they do for living in there. If you have the conditions like that, you may think you may need a cart like that or wheelchair, take with you some cash. Or on the third level, they have scooters, electric scooters, and you can rent them for 50 riyal for tawaf and 50 riyal for umrah, and you can do the tawaf while you're riding on a scooter if you're not able to walk. Okay. Still on the point number 16, they mention. Remember, the ulama, they mentioned that you go with wudu upon tahara. Make wudu in a hotel and then go. And try to keep that wudu. Try to keep that wudu at least until you finish tawaf. Because wudu is not required for sa'i. After tawaf, you pray 2 rak'at, which is sunnah. And then you broke your wudu. If you cannot make wudu, you just go ahead and make sa'i with no wudu. However, for tawaf, the ulama, they says you gotta have wudu, tahara. Now, what if you break the wudu while you're making tawaf? What do you do now? You see, that's a good question, right? Should we answer it or leave it as a homework for you guys? Huh? Answer it, okay. The ulama, they differ. Some of them, they says, if you break your wudu, you gotta go make wudu and come and start all over again. Some of them, they says, if you break your wudu and you can make wudu in a short time, without like long time elapsed, you can come back and resume your wudu, your tawaf. You don't have to start from the beginning. Shaykh al-Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, yes, go with tahara. However, he says, in our times and with the crowds, and to make wudu you have to go out, leave the masjid, and if you leave the masjid it's going to take you some time because of the crowds, and you're going to go to the bathrooms and it's going to wait for a long time, and then once you leave the masjid and come back, they may not even let you in based on what time you're going to come back. He said, for all of this hardship, we say that if a person start his tawaf with tahara and break his wudu, continue, inshallah. Number 17. The mensing woman and the woman on the nufasa, on the postnatal bleeding, they should avoid tawaf around the Kaaba. They don't make tawaf. They don't start umrah. If they are making umrah, because we're talking about the umrah, they don't start the umrah. Because the Prophet ﷺ said that to Aisha when she made Hajj with him, and the other wives, they made Hajj as well. But Aisha, she was in her menses when they make it to Mecca. Prophet ﷺ, he said to her, "If'ali kama yaf'alu al-hajj, ghayra an la tatufi al-bayt hatta tathuri." He said, do everything the pilgrims do. Meaning, yes, at the miqat, you say labbaik umrah, make talbiyah, you're in a state of ihram, everything. Do not make tawaf around the bayt until you are clean and pure from your menses. So the same way, if anybody have his wife with him, daughter, auntie, grand, this, that, niece, then if they have their menses, it's normal, alhamdulillah, they shouldn't get mad about it or whatever. It's okay. It's okay. Once you make it to Mecca, they stay in a hotel. And you go make the umrah with the group or with other people, whatever the case. If they, mashallah, next day, 2 days later, before the Hajj, they are clean, they take a shower, and they go make umrah, you can go with them, accompany them, alhamdulillah. I want to mention a point in here, because I'm going to try my best to give you benefits. Some people, they ask the ulama, women, they says, is it permissible for women to take pills that will delay their menses during Hajj and also during Ramadan? And during Ramadan, you know why, so that they can fast Ramadan and don't break the fast. Is it permissible for women to take those pills? There is some pills out there that women